Hello and welcome back for Game 2, where Golden Guardians will square up against Team Liquid. If you want to catch these teams live, join us here at the LCS studios in Los Angeles, California. Tickets are available at riot.com/LCS tickets.
And every time that I've gone to a live event, I always remember it. I remember my first one was Season 3. It was SKT versus Najin Blacksword. And I was sad because I didn't get tickets to Cloud9 Fnatic, which was the quarterfinals, but I actually had a complete blast. Even though I wasn't always familiar with the teams back then, it was super fun. Every time I've gone and watched in person, it's always been amazing.
There you go. First-hand review from Zyrene. Get out here.
I still remember
Get to the studio. See what it's like for yourself. See if you agree with them or not. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the starting rosters. Selecting the blue side, you've got the Golden Guardians. Haunser will be in the top lane. Contracts prowling around in the jungle. Froggen at mid, Deftly and Ole bot lane in support with Coach Anero.
And facing them on the red side, it's Team Liquid. And their roster is Impact in the top lane, Smithy in the jungle, Jensen in mid, bot Doublelift, and support Core JJ with Coach Kane.
Now, Golden Guardians come into week 4 with a bit of mojo after a 2-0 week that disrupted their slow start.
Yeah, they found a style that worked for them, and surprise, surprise, it's Froggen on a late-game, farm-oriented carry. He's put up CS records on things like Karthus before, and they started running compositions revolving around fighting constantly, and his Karthus was at the front and center of the Golden Guardian victories.
And even if Liquid are the team in first place right now, even if they are looking super strong, I fully expect them to respect how much work that pick has been putting in for Golden Guardians and keep the Karthus out of Froggen's hands in draft.
Yeah, 43% damage share is absolutely absurd. And because we're on patch 9.3, many of the super OP champions got nerfed, removing them from the must-ban category and freeing up opportunities to target ban things. So the Karthus should be banned away. And coming into this match, one would think it's just going to play out in a one-sided manner, but Team Liquid have a very rough history versus the Golden Guardians.
For those who are not aware of these teams going head-to-head in the world of the post-franchise era, as that's when Golden Guardians showed up, last year when Team Liquid were back-to-back champions, and when Golden Guardians were back-to-back 10th place, the head-to-head record was 2-2, completely even in number 10 versus number 1.
Yeah, in the past, Liquid have been caught off guard multiple times by this team that's lower than them in the standings, and if they want to keep their path towards a perfect season alive, they have to keep their wits about them today, and it starts with respecting Golden Guardians right from the get-go in Champion Select, because many Team Liquid fans remember the time that they had let Deftly get Heimerdinger. So if they let Froggen get Karthus, it's another meme to add to the team.
I remember that Heimerdinger game. It's the same game that Matt played Fiddlesticks and casually bounced a crow into Doublelift as he stood there underneath the turret, probably perusing items in the shop.
Oh, it's iconic moments at that point. Man.
Yeah, it's the moments that the real Kodak moment, the one that you remember for a lifetime.
Yeah, but for Golden Guardians, having a 2-0 week last week, sure, TL taking care of business, another 2-0 for them. But being 0-4 and finally picking up not just one win, but 2 back-to-back wins, Golden Guardians are starting to realize the potential that people were saying this roster had for them when they saw who was going to be on it with Haunser, Contracts, Froggen, Deftly, and Ole.
Well, for those of you who follow our friends across the sea over in, well, I guess our friends across the ocean, I should say it's not just a sea, over in the LEC, today, their undefeated team in G2 lost their first game of the split. So can NA keep its undefeated team undefeated, or will the Golden Guardians reprise their role from last split and be Liquid's kryptonite? Let's see how this goes down as Ezreal and Olaf will be banned away by GGS. Team Liquid decide to remove the Nocturne and the Lucian.
They have one ban remaining. Karthus is on the tip of everybody's tongues right now. And if Golden Guardians would even first pick it, his potential as well. 2 marksmen banned away, 2 junglers banned away, and making sure that Core JJ doesn't have this strong champion for him, this big playmaker.
Core JJ has been a hell of a player for Team Liquid so far, too. This guy has stepped up game after game after game after game after game. I think that was about 6 games. Either way, he's stepped up all the time, and the man is truly a force to be reckoned with in the bottom lane. Let's see what you go with, Team Liquid. People, at least I know I'm expecting a Karthus here, or do they have some strategy they've planned? Are they thinking he'll obviously play Karthus if we leave it up? We want to see him pick it. They leave the Karthus available.
I don't know if they're going to pick it or not.
If Team Liquid loses this game, this first ban phase is going to be flamed
They'll pick Urgot,
a lot.
most likely. Urgot's power pick Cassiopeia still on the table, still playable. Scion's another one. So it'll be a little bit before the Karthus gets locked in because you don't want to get hard countered right away.
Right.
But they're just securing some cores for their team.
Securing the core for the core himself. Alistair picked up the core JJ as the Scion is rallied there for Impact. Liquid fans always like to see Impact on tanks, and what better tank to play than the tank that we've already talked about how good he is enough time, so I'm going to leave it at that. Ashe and Tahm Kench picked up for the Golden Guardians, a rather quick second part of the draft here as they want to go for those global ultis, have presence across the map with their bottom laner.
And Ashe is actually fantastic right now after the crit item changes. The Infinity Edge being reverted, she feels really good. So a lot of people will see what he ends up going with build-wise, because once again, Essence Reaver with CDR helps her out, whereas CDR was kind of taken away from all of the marksmen, and a lot of people really just didn't want to buy like Essence Reaver, right? So feels great, has the Tahm Kench to back her up against the Alistar, whereas now Doublelift on the wave clear of Sivir here. It's a big range disparity in this matchup where the Ashe will be able to take it to the Sivir, but now we're in that second ban phase. We'll see what pops up here. 2 more chances for Le Karthus.
2 more chances to get rid of him, and then if he doesn't get removed, that's 2 more chances for Golden Guardians to pick him afterwards. But there's another Yasuo ban. You said in last game you were expecting to see this champion picked and banned more often now in the post-crit item update. So Golden Guardians definitely respecting that one as Sejuani is removed by Team Liquid.
Yeah, and Jensen could play it, right? Play that Yasuo in the mid lane, and it's pretty effective against a lot of mid laners, things like Zoe, things like LeBlanc even, you can just dash around. So, want to get rid of it. Hope we'll see it at some point and see what a lot of these mid laners, even bot laners have. And there it is.
There you go. All right, Team Liquid. All right, there we go. Respecting the Frog and Karthus pick, taking that one off the table, not allowing that late game inevitability. One of the only champions in League of Legends, along with a trolling Nunu that specifically wants to die. LeBlanc banned out here by Golden Guardians, looking towards the mid lane here in the second phase of the ban.
So making sure that the Karthus is taken away, what is Froggen going to play today? Because he's played Galio, Lissandra, Urgot, even LeBlanc, but none of those have given him wins. It's just the Karthus with the 2 for 0.
Team Liquid decide to bring some more initiation potential into this team. And man, you've got 3 initiating champions, and the one that doesn't initiate helps everybody else initiate better with her ulti.
Yep.
This is a team that has a lot of ability to dictate when and where the fight goes down.
This feels like we're going to have Team Liquid almost running the exact same composition, save for the Jace, and maybe the Cassio might get picked up by Jensen later for Team Liquid, but it might be very similar. The Scion, the Urgot was what they had instead, but like the Alistar and the Gragas, just the initiation core of this team is the same.
Zac picked up for the Golden Guardians. The most common criticism we see for this champion is the fact that his early jungle is pretty vulnerable, is pretty weak if he goes up against a strong jungler. Froggen hovering, and he locks it in! I told Froggen last week I wanted to see the Froggen special, and he said, "Do you mean Anivia?" And I said, "Yes," and he looked at me like I was crazy. And then this week, he got to think about it a little bit. He's like, you know, that Captain Flowers guy, he's got some good ideas sometimes. I'm taking credit for this one, Froggen.
Sometimes. So the full Chad Skarner warrior, that's a little risky build according to Vegas.
See, the one reason that I love Froggen's Anivia too is because it is the definition of follow your heart.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure at any point, Froggen is capable of building any item on this champion, depending on what the needs are for that game, and I love watching it. I love watching him play this. I could not be more excited for this pick, and we're going to see Jensen answer it with the Syndra.
And we've seen teams find success recently with playing their own style. We've seen Phoenix from Echo Fox play the Swain. We've seen Froggen pull out the Karthus. We have seen it left, right, and center of how much playing your comfort champions can help you in this meta where sure, there's this S tier, but this patch, a lot of those got nerfed. The field is wide open, and all that engage that you were talking about, the Alistar, the Scion, the Gragas, they're going to have to find this Anivia that makes really annoying chokeholds and choke points.
And you've also, on the side of the Golden Guardians, got the Tahm Kench Devour to save people who get initiated on, which could be huge in stopping Team Liquid from making this happen. I love the fact that Golden Guardians know that going into this game, they're matched up against a team that no one else has been able to find significant enough weakness in to bring down. They're matched up against a squad that just seems to be on fire, and they're saying, we've got to do something special. We got to think outside the box. And what's outside the box? The bird perched on top. That's perfect.
I I love this so much. And he's got Summoner Spellbook. He's got Cleanse, making sure that they can't catch him. The Summoner Spellbook will also allow him to have TP later in the game if he wants it. I really want to see what 2019 Anivia Kid looks like.
And it's also an old school skin, too. This is Team Spirit Anivia from the original Winter Olympics skins.
Yo, he got that red, white, and blue.
Back in, what was it, like 2010? The second year the game even existed that those came out?
Wow.
It's really old, one way or the other. That is a throwback skin for a throwback pick, and we'll see if he can bring it to the forefront here today. We're on to the Rift for game number 1, and we'll start things off. Avali is standing by with a sideline report with Coach Inero.
Give me the deets.
Thanks, Flowers. Inero, Froggen's Anivia has come out for this game. What was the inspiration behind the pick?
We played it a bit this week. We knew we had a lot of success with the Karthus, and there's very specific scenarios where it's like, all right, Anivia actually does really well versus comp. So we think it might work, but we're just willing to try it. Like, it's obviously it's a big game for us and not so much of a big game for TL. So it's a good shot for us to try it out and see what it's like.
And last week, you started last week basically in 10th place, and now you're taking on the first place team. So how's the team doing mentally coming into this game?
Everyone's doing well. Like, we talked a lot about this week. Like, we need to stop focusing on just trying to do what everyone else is doing and trying to make everything that's perfect work. And just do what we think is good. Do what works for us and what we find success in practice with, and just try to pull that to stage immediately. So, we're doing a lot of stuff with that, and it's been great. Like, everyone's been having a good time.
Thank you, and best of luck to you. Back to you guys.
Most beautiful words in the English language when referring to League of Legends. We've got to stop doing what everyone else is doing. That's the stuff I do like.
Put that away. I don't want to
Hold
Wait a second.
up here.
These are from the Echo Fox days. This is his LCS all time. I don't believe they would include EU LCS. This is him from Echo Fox, 7th place, like 8th, that type of era for him.
Team Liquid will have to take down the Frog and Cryo Phoenix here in this game if they want to stay undefeated. Smithy starts off at his red buff, does not go for his own chicken camp, instead just decides to do the truffle shuffle across the wall, get himself into the enemy blue buff, and go buff to buff like that.
Yeah.
Remember, I said that Zach's weakness, and one thing that almost always happens to him when he gets picked, is he gets exploited in the jungle early, and Team Liquid is taking advantage of that.
Yeah, and a big part there of that route is Zach loves doing multi, I would say, unit camps. So he loves doing the Raptors, he loves doing the Krugs, he loves doing the Wolves, starts Wolves, goes to Raptors, doesn't go for his blue. You don't need it, really, the cooldown reduction, all that. It's not a big
Don't
deal.
use mana, so.
And if you are going to do blue, you kind of just make the Gromp and the blue hit each other with your Q, with your stretching strike. So he didn't do that, he didn't want to do that, and so he's going to leave that top side of the jungle to Xmithy, so he'll get an advantage here early on. But the Zach trying to just clear the bottom half of the map, and I love this because this pick was coming up in the LCK a lot. It's being picked as one of those big premier tanks, and nothing has happened to Zach. Nothing has happened to him. Aftershock's been the same for him for a long time. Nothing's happened to him. It's all the champions around him that have kind of gotten changed a little bit, and with people not being as focused on level 2, Xin Zhao, Camille, get in there, get those crabs, then Zach's going to come back.
Yep.
And the less aggressive junglers are present.
The less pressure there is to squish the goop monster out of the jungle, the more he's going to find his way back into the game. And notice how Xmithy, he went for that enemy blue, and then immediately he passed towards the bottom side of the map. He might catch them off guard here. Golden Guardians look to make the play, but now they have to retreat. They're the ones who are going to be caught out. His Contract loses a little bit of HP. Ole also going to be taken low here. Big brain from Xmithy, this guy that we constantly applaud for being good at pathing and being the brains of the team, recognizes that his opponents would notice that he did that buff to buff thing. They're thinking, all right, how's he going to exploit Zach? Here's our counterplay. Well, he's 2 steps ahead.
Exactly. He got the buffs on the top side, goes straight to the bottom, and he's able to get both Scuttle Crabs there, so he's protecting his lane before he even does his blue. So he was hanging around there, kind of knowing something like that might happen, and I don't think this is going to give them too much info. It'll give them camps on this side, so he's basically seeing what is up here, but I don't think he spotted him. So process of elimination, though, does tell you that he is on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah.
That's something that, a lot of people don't always take into account. They're like, we saw the camps, but he wasn't doing any of them, so he's either back or he's on the bottom side here.
Monster will continue pushing up in the top side. The Scion Urgot matchup loyal viewers at home, for those of you who watch a lot, I figure you're probably pretty familiar with this matchup by now. We've seen quite a lot of it over the course of the past few months, as Froggen will continue farming up here in the mid lane on this Anivia. Remember, Anivia pre-6 and Anivia post-6 are very different laning experiences in terms of how she can handle things and deal with a wave. Right now, you are expecting to see Froggen get shoved in and beat up early on.
Yeah, I'm very interested in his build because following a lot of his old stuff, it was you usually put multiple points into the Q early because it double taps in Wave Clear. So you can like double tap caster mains with it. He only has 1 in Flash Frost, and then he's put 3 points into his E already, when normally I think it's 3 points Q, then you start maxing E. Because you just care about Wave Clear. You don't care too much about trading damage.
See how that works out for him. Of course, it does mean he is going to have more burst potential with the double damage on the E should a gank come in. So maybe they are looking to make that happen here if Contracts can find the opportunity to make the gank happen onto Jensen. You can see Contracts hanging around that middle part of the map, but Froggen saying, no, I don't have the health, I don't have the mana, we can't really do anything on this one. Ole eats some boomerang blades here on the bottom side. Top, it's Impact getting a nice little decimating smash down onto Haunter there, but he can't follow it up with anything. Contracts shows back up bottom side, looking to make the stretching strikes happen down into Core JJ, but Double Lift with a good spell shield to block the tongue from Ole means Team Liquid feels just fine.
Yep. Means that they know where he is too, so Xmithie gets a good back off there, gets the Predator boots. I wonder if Froggen with the Unsealed Spellbook will go for a Clarity, just to get some mana back in lane.
Ah, I forgot that Summoner spell existed. I honestly did. I always have that pop up at some point, almost once or twice every season, but Xmithie will now move in, secure that Scuttlecraft from Contracts. TY for Leash, less than 3 in the all chat. Thank you very much. As Impact is taken very low here on the top side. Can Haunter go fishing for that Harpoon just outside of the HP threshold? Impact keeps himself in good enough shape for now, but that's a scary situation to be in.
Yep. Oh, that doesn't quite reach Froggen there, who has the teleport. Not going to go for the Clarity. Actually, just going to go for a full purchase. If he gets a tier, then
wants to get the tier. Wants to get the tier. Make sure he starts stacking that. Ole getting himself away from the initiation. TL trying to make the play here on the bot side. Core JJ very low, down to about 300 HP. Ole goes in for the power. Haunter's able to find the fear into the ulti. He's going to make sure Double is not able to find anything in retaliation. It's 2 kills over to Golden Guardians. Xmithie will fall. Core JJ grabs the kill into Haunter, but it's still going to be a Golden Guardians victory in the bottom lane.
That is a 2-for-1 there. Sure, Haunter goes down, but they get so much off that, and they might get a turret plate on top of it. It's very early on. Double Lift has to actually be able to wave clear. This doesn't have much mana. We'll see. He's going for a back here. If he does, that means they do seed that plate over. I think a lot of this, too, is just the difference in the backs. Definitely has a Bilgewater Cutlass right now. Double Lift just has a Doran's Blade. He doesn't do much damage. You see, he kind of just tickles him right there. And definitely was able to use the active there for some extra damage, some slow, and then Haunter comes in. Perfect time to get the grinder on. And Xmithie kind of just shows up, gets dropped right away.
Well coordinated there by Golden Guardians to come out on top in that one. They still enjoy a slight gold lead for themselves. One of the kills did go over onto your carry indefinitely on that Ashe. You mentioned the Bilgewater Cutlass. Means we're looking at the Blade of the Ruined King coming out as the first item here for Ashe. Provides the extra lifesteal, the extra kiting to the active there as well. Froggen getting some good damage down onto Xmithie. The wall not quite going to find him. I forgot all about Anivia getting that visual upgrade as well, because you just don't see the champion very often. And damn, does that wall look nice now.
Yeah.
Used to it looked like a bunch of ice cubes, and now it looks like a real glacier.
Melts. When it slowly melts, that always made me laugh.
Yeah, it's really cool now.
Just thinking about it. Ugh. Yeah, I actually think Zilean and Anivia are like the 2 most frustrating champions to play against in the game. Just has so much in terms of zone control, and you feel like you got him, but you really don't. So we'll see what happens here. Contracts. If he goes for a gank here onto Jensen, who still has his flash. Nope, just back to the chicken farming. Froggen seems like he's good with that blue buff, all settled. And hey, it's a jungler that doesn't need blue.
And I remember thinking about how Jensen has been talked about in the past from previous teammates, where they're like, Jensen likes to have a lot of attention. He likes to always feel protected. He likes to always be able to have a lot of resources devoted to him in the mid lane. And when you're up against a Zac, that becomes more difficult than normal, because the normal amount of wards are not going to cover all those gank routes. You're going to have to be that much more careful. As Xmithie pats back down towards the bottom side, he'll find himself on top of a control ward that he will swiftly remove.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be a bottom-focused game because top side, it's a Sion versus Urgot. Just let them have their way. Anivia mid, hell no, I'm not going there. Bottom side.
You don't like scrambled eggs, Irene?
No, I do love scrambled eggs, but Anivia, no.
No.
But right here, definitely range advantage over Doublelift. The CS advantage, he's 20 CS up over Doublelift. Definitely also has an advantage here. But the fact that I feel as though the engage range that Contracts will have and the lack of escapes that are there for Core JJ, it puts him in a very risky position, and he's going to be stuck in his bottom lane where there are going to be constant ganks, and if you try to gank them, they just escape. Ganking Anivia, no. Ganking for a bottom lane that has a Tahm Kench, that's also something that's difficult to do.
Ole wants to go up, find the lick, but he will not land it onto Doublelift, who eats a single auto attack from Deftly, returning it with the Boomerang Blade.
And we talked about it before, where Golden Guardians is this team of kind of misfit players that got kicked off with teams picked up, almost like Island of Misfit Toys type thing.
Oh, nice sidestep from McSmithy, getting himself away from the arrow, but he's still going to be in some trouble here. A very nicely done stopwatch to avoid the play. That's what you like to see when you have a player who needs to react in time.
Yep, the stopwatch, that was Smithy with the fancy feat there. The juke forward, dodges the arrow, then ends up, oh wait, Ole.
Ole finding himself in a bad spot now. Jensen looking to grab some more damage, knows that he can't go for the ulti just yet because of the thick skin. Doesn't want to waste any cooldowns unnecessarily there, but he will force Ole back. That was so well timed from McSmithy, man. I have got to give credit where credit is due. That was clean.
That was really clean from him. This guy, I mean, he's been doing fantastically all season long. The Lee Sin play from him, the Gragas play. Here, though, he is getting flanked. He doesn't have his body slam anymore. He has the Predator, jukes back down, keeps his options open, hits everybody away, stopwatches, and then whoop, gets the flash as well out of Contract. So Contract without that summoner spell, it's gonna be a big deal later on when he goes in.
I still hate stopwatch, but that's a really cool use of that item.
That made you even like it.
Yeah, I was even able to accept that as a cool play despite the use of stopwatch involved in it. But bottom side, it's definitely continuing to just farm up here on the Ashe, maintaining about that just shy of 20 CS lead over his opponent. Top side, you can see the 25 lead of Hanser has been maintained there as well. Almost 1,000 gold up compared to Impact Scion. We didn't see the Urgot winning the matchup this heavily last time around, but this time it's Hanser who's making sure Impact knows who's the boss in top side.
Exactly. You have to be able to use that advantage as much as possible with the range early on. The Cole allows him to heal off of every shot from his W, and so I really feel like the Sunfire Cape buy here from Impact and not the Bramble Vest is going to hurt him because it's not going to cut the healing from the Cull at all. It's not going to return much damage. So he's kind of greeting for a Sunfire Cape here on the side of Impact.
Bottom side is Team Liquid.
Here comes
Looking to make the play, but Contracts comes in. The cavalry has arrived over the wall, but Ole is still going to be the man who's in the most danger. Pops the thick skin, wants to get himself away. Remember, no flash available. Golden Guardians will get him out.
Ooh, gets him out just barely, and there has just been a game of inches here. Like that play right there, but even looking back at the Xmithy stopwatch turns on at 10 minutes. It was 10 minutes, 9 seconds when that play happened. It was just barely enough time for him to get that stopwatch online and have the presence of mind to press it at that time too. So it's just been tiny bits here and there, and both these teams went 2-0 last week. They're both climbing those standings, TL at the top, of course, but we're talking about the revenge tour for Golden Guardians. Last week, they were able to get Hanser's revenge. They weren't able to get Froggen's. This week, this game is Ole trying to get revenge against Team Liquid. Kicked off the team, Core JJ comes in. Right now, that bottom lane is dominating in terms of going against who he used to be alongside. So you know he has something where he's going, I want to be able to beat Doublelift. I want to be able to beat Core JJ on Team Liquid.
Best way to be the best is beat the best, and that's what they'll look to do. But right now, we're 13 minutes into this game. You talked about stopwatch timing earlier. I'm going to go ahead and bring up turret plate timing because each side has only managed to take a single plate so far in the mid lane. There's your first neutral objective going down as Team Liquid finds themselves in the Cloud Drake. So not a lot of extra money being made off of the turret plates this game, despite the fact that we've seen Hanser pushed up so far in the top side. He just only recently got the first plate up there away from Impact.
And I don't know who a slower game favors because Team Liquid have a Scion that will scale forever. They have a Syndra that's okay against Squishies in the late game. And they have a Sivir, which, you know, meme of 6-item win condition. But in Golden Guardians, they have an Anivia. They have an Ashe.
And Contracts now has himself Xmithy bearing down on him, and he gets himself up the wall with Elastic Slingshot. Shelly gets mad and rams her head into the wall because that's what everyone does when they're angry. Nope. All right, now she's looking around. Where did you go? I could have swore I headbutted you. Hanser will keep this lane pushed up the entire time, though. Impact has that TP available on the Scion, but Hanser's making sure if he ever wants to use it, he is losing out as that opportunity cost. Bottom side, double lift, keeping the farm a little close. And by a little close, I mean at least he staunched the bleeding. It's still a slight gap between him and Deathly.
Yeah,
but this is double lift. This is a guy who's been a premier AD carry in the LCS since its inception and has stayed relevant for that damn long. Not just relevant, but at the top. So if there's anybody who can play from a little bit behind and you're not worried about him, I would say it's double lift.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how to kind of play with that losing. Whoa.
That was a little bit of a wacky interaction.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Thorn Mail, so it's not really going to matter. He doesn't have the Bramble Vest, so Impact is getting back to lane, trading some damage, and I feel like that just gives Hanser kind of the free lane. His Cole will pop soon. He's 40 CS up, close to being 40 CS up. It's just this massive lead in both bot and top for Golden Guardians, and I'm surprised there aren't bounties on the other team because of this farm.
Hanser, level 11, too, means a stronger ultimate in this next fight whenever it does break out. We have really only seen a couple so far. Golden Guardians looking towards Shelly now, seeing if Contracts can pick this one up solo. Shelly's not a particularly intimidating objective. She doesn't do a ton of damage. Just takes a little while to bring her down. Xmithie and Core JJ want to rotate over to this one, as well as Jensen, just to make sure that Contracts and Golden Guardians don't pick it up for free.
Yep. See how much they end up going for here. Turret plates are down. Bottom lane looks like where the play is going to be. If they stay too long, Golden Guardians, they're going to have to get out right now because double lift is going to come in. Core JJ and friends.
There we go, on the hunt. Team Liquid looks to make their play. They're going to get Ole away from Deathly first, so we cannot use the Devour to save the AD carry. Well coordinated, well done, well played. It's 2 kills to Team Liquid.
And you have to look at that and just be like, why the hell they stay so long? It's because the vision game was so strong for them. The control wards all throughout the bottom side river. They didn't see that coming until Core JJ was already bot lane.
Easy pick up there for Team Liquid, and even more importantly, it translates into first turret. And now that gold lead that Golden Guardians had built for themselves over the first 15 minutes has completely evaporated. Golden Guardians wants to retaliate by grabbing themselves the Rift Herald. It looks like Team Liquid will not move to contest this when they recognize they don't have enough bodies in the right place. So that one goes over to Golden Guardians, who will pick up the eye.
Yep, we finally get it. And we'll see if they're able to convert that into anything. But this was just such good vision play here. And another thing that's a kicker here is Xmithie and Jensen had just contested the Rift Herald on the top side. They pushed him away, and they went, do not pass go, do not collect any minion, go straight to bottom, and they were able to pick up Deathly, and then they're able to pick up Ole on top of it. So they reversed the bottom lane completely here, and that turret is gone.
And we applauded Core JJ for good support play earlier, and I'm going to applaud him here again because he made sure he kept the Ashe away from the Tahm Kench. We talk about this champion always denying plays and making it so hard to make a move onto the carry. Well, Devour is point-blank range, so if Tahm Kench can't stay next to her, he can't save her. And that's one reason why that play succeeded as well as it did. But Team Liquid now enjoy that gold lead being erased. As I said earlier, they're up a turret. They're just sitting back, happy to farm up. Like you said, you've got the late game Scion scaling. You've got the Herald win condition. Rift Herald summoned up here mid as Froggen will clear out the minion wave and make room for Shelly. Step on up. Shouldn't be any way for Team Liquid to stop this one. Kaboom. See ya.
And there it goes. Pick that one up right quick. But will Shelly get another charge off? I feel like it's a nope.
Nope, she's sent packing right back where she came from. No longer welcome here in mid lane. Thrown out before the party's even over. Feels bad, man, but Golden Guardians are now going to find a little bit of damage down on Core JJ. Good stun comes through there, but he pops the ulti to immediately get ready to counterattack. Golden Guardians recognize and back away.
Yeah, that's 2 ultimates blown right now. They're trying to get Deathly.
Oh, no, Xmithie wants to go in after Deathly. Ole's trying to save him. Ole needs to get in and find the Devour, and he's got it. He'll keep his AD carry safe as the TP comes in from the side of Team Liquid. A nice arrow from Deathly makes its way on a double lift, but considering Deathly's only at half HP, Golden Guardians do not want to go any further.
Yeah, they wanted to get that retaliation. Maybe hit a frontline or somebody a little closer, but it went right by. Mountain Drake is up right now, and that's why the 2 ultimates blown from TL, now 3, is something they have to worry about coming into this.
But Golden Guardians, they're healing up Deathly off of the minions with the Blade of the Ruined King, but Froggen and Contracts both took damage from Jensen while walking through the Tri-Brush. Team Liquid has a massive health bar advantage going into this. Xmithie's on top of the Drake. Contracts goes in, works himself into the ultimate, stays unstoppable, forced into the passive, and the Drake is secured by Team Liquid. Contracts is left as the sacrificial lamb, and everything's coming up Liquid.
And I feel like going for a flank there is not the best idea. Nivea doesn't strike me as a flanker, more of a front-to-back team fighter. So if you're looking for something like that, that was probably the better approach to the play. And oh, Ole! He's gone.
Ole got himself out of town, but he left a little bit early.
Oh, he's back.
The TP comes back down, but Xmithy is here.
This is two
will
TPs.
turn back into a 2 versus 3, now a 3 versus 3. Definitely makes his way into the fight here too. Harpoon into Core JJ, seeing if maybe they can finish him off, but a good flash will keep him safe from the further slows. Golden Guardians won't lose anyone, but they won't find anything either until they push this turret.
Yeah, they want to get this turret. Top lane, Double Lift is up there. He's actually pushing that top turret. He's not going to get it here. He's going to go into the river and find what he can, but the gold still favoring Golden Guardians a little. But look at that, Xmithy in the back.
Froggen's in some trouble. Very nice play from Xmithy, making sure Froggen doesn't get value out of the passive here. He'll try to get himself away. He finds some damage. He is alive! He goes into stasis, and Contract will make sure they get that value.
Woo! He stayed alive so long. The flash and then the stopwatch afterwards.
Damn, that was another good stopwatch.
That was so good. Able to make sure that they get the counter kill there. That's one where they put so many people from TL to just try get Froggen, and it wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. He has so much in terms of defensive value here with the Rod of Aegis stacking. He's gonna have that Archangels eventually into the Seraphs right here. The Ignite's ticking on him. Jensen doesn't have the mana to do much about this. He's just throwing what he can at him. He doesn't have enough for another ball. And then Froggen able to dodge out from Core JJ. The wall in the same spot. The boomerang blade. The Zanya's on the back half of it so he doesn't drop. Gives enough time for Contracts to get in there, and then they have to commit afterwards. That was flawless on the back end.
For those who don't know as well, Nivea's egg, early levels, it lowers your armor and MR when you go into the egg. You get scrambled really easy. Later on, you're a dinosaur egg. That thing is incredibly tanky and gives massive resistance bonuses that makes you deceptively hard to kill once you go into it. Core JJ will be pretty hard to kill himself, but he will be brought back to the rest of the Golden Guardians.
They're gonna get him.
Froggen shows up, gonna chain CC, drop the stun, the Frostbite's there. As Xmithy looks to find one in return, Contract's taken very low, doesn't have the passive ready to go, and Xmithy makes that kill happen. Definitely with the flash over the wall, gets himself away from Impact's ulti, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade.
Yep, 1-for-1.
Oh, not for long, though. Impact now in some trouble. Hanser putting the damage into him. Definitely wants to walk back up, but he's got to be respectful of Xmithy.
Where's the
wall?
wall?
The hunt comes down. Hanser's caught out. Devoured to safety by Ole. Gets him out for now. Froggen trying to
hit him with the harpoon!
They've got the harpoon, but will it tick low enough? The corrupting potion is going. Hanser's still kept alive. Somehow, some way, the Golden Guardians get themselves out. Jensen barely gets out as well. What a bloody fight with no deaths.
That was so close on so many people. I'm surprised that harpoon was not ready to go. I don't want to do the math right now, but that looked like it was going to be enough there.
That corrupting potion had to just be a sliver away from ticking him down. Natural health regeneration can be a lifesaver sometimes.
You know what, screw it, I'm doing the math.
Okay, do the math. I will patiently stand by and wait as we observe the Vision game being played by Team Liquid. You can see both teams putting a lot of wards down around this barren area. So many red dots on the map from Team Liquid. Control wards, Vision wards, Trinket wards, every kind of ward you could want is making sure Golden Guardians do not go towards that Baron anytime soon. Ole will move up here. Just make sure that he's always ready, always in range to ult in and save somebody if he needs to do it. Ulti is ready to go on him. Still a few more seconds for both Hanser and Deathly to make those happen. Impact still needs to get his back up as well. Same for Double Lift. I believe Zyrene is now ready with the math update.
Yep. They have to fall below 25% health to get impaled. He was at 26% HP, 26.6.
You don't get much closer than that, as Core JJ is now in a bad spot once more. Contracts tries to go over the wall, will be interrupted by the Pulverize. Good job there, but the ward is going to make sure they grab him anyway. Xmithy wants to move in, see if there's a counterattack to be made, but the arrow finds its way in. Hanser wants to find the follow-up damage. They've almost got him, but not quite, and Double Lift goes on a killing spree in the counterattack, and Impact is into the back line. A decimating smash into the Golden Guardians carries, and that is the Liquid counterattack coming in. Double Lift's got a double kill, and Deathly heads for the hills. The chilling smite, take a drink, buddy. It's a triple careful for Double Lift.
And it always seems to happen, these Team Liquid fights, when it looks like things are dire. Impact is like freaking Gandalf. He comes in from the right side. It's like, where was this guy the whole time? And he turns the fight
He was
around.
off playing a Balrog, man. He was doing the side quest, and now he's back here helping Liquid out, bringing in the team fight potential, and Team Liquid will take the Baron as the prize for that one, feeling good.
Whew. And Team Liquid, this was a nail biter up until this point. Froggen gets the pick right there on the core JJ, gets the wall down, forces him to go around. The ultimate comes out, and then you look at where the map is situated. Look at the mini-map. Urgot's coming in from the flank. All right, so as soon as Urgot gets here, they want to turn on Xmithie. There's the arrow. He gets a little bit further away. They get the stun on him, but then it's Contracts who ends up dying, and boom! Deja vu right in the backline. Impact gets the stun, gets the knockup, kills Froggen, delays Olay enough, and forces Deathly to flash to boot, which means there is no escaping this second half of the fight.
No. See you later. Team Liquid tells the Golden Guardians as they clean up that fight. And now, Team Liquid has only taken a single turret, Zyrene. That means there is a ton of standing gold on Summoner's Rift for this team to collect. Look at the damage in the last team fight. Yeah, Froggen's up there on the board. He's got some numbers. Where's everybody else's numbers?
And
No numbers, Zyrene. I don't see enough numbers.
oh boy, but now you're seeing Double Lift with so much gold in his pockets. He was down 20 CS. He is now completely even in the CS department. 5-0 and 5.
I was going to say the 5-0-5 adds a bit to it as well.
Yep.
Impact finds himself in a bit of a rough spot. Very tanky though, so not going to be dead just yet. And Haunter can't move in front to stop him from ulting away. So Team Liquid will not lose their top laner there. They'll continue pressuring the mid lane here with Xmithie and Jensen. Double Lift rotates over for a couple of auto attacks. Wall thrown out. Froggen has to be careful to not eat too much damage coming in from Jensen. Oh, nice catch! That one's going to be huge as he goes into the grind and the shutdown comes out, and that's 2 for Golden Guardians. Jensen
Olay wants more!
keeping himself away from the arrow. Jensen will try to get himself away, but Olay's coming around and he wants something, but he will not chase further. He knows he can't do it alone. But now Golden Guardians have found themselves in a 5 versus 3 for the next 30 seconds, and Drake will be what they take.
And that was one where Impact, he's the one who runs away. He's the one who backs with the Baron buff after getting caught on the bottom side. So they say it's time to initiate. 5v4 for Golden Guardians. That's when he's slaying the Balrog. You can't go during that time.
No. You got to make sure it's a bit more coordinated than that one. Let's take another look at the replay here.
Yeah,
How they caught him.
they already forced out Impact on the bottom side. He has teleport, but right here, it's already made connection. That was so close. He used the QSS as well. The QSS, the heal, the flash. Nothing is going to save Double Lift from that. Oh, and the trail off from that as well. They almost got more. That bounty went over to Haunter. Haunter, 3-1, now has a bounty himself with that 700 gold, but that was massive with the catch there.
And whether it's a big Scion flank or a stopwatch that just makes you stop and appreciate it, make sure you tweet us at LOL Esports with your big plays. Hashtag LCS big plays. Let us know what you think was the biggest, most defining moment of the game, because we have already seen quite a few of those here this time around. Team Liquid, 20 seconds left on that Baron power play. Plus 1,300 gold, that's all right, but it's not what I was expecting considering what I said about the standing gold, and the big reason for that is it was quite a punish coming out from the side of Golden Guardians. Double Lift had a 950 gold bounty when he was caught, which is quite a lot into your opponent's pockets.
Yep, and it went over to Haunter, so he's the one who's going to be rolling in the dough right now. But when I look back at that play, Froggen, he's starting to get ranks in his wall. It's level 2 right now, and so as he ranks that up, you start seeing more of that Anivia experience. That's what makes the good Anivia players separated from the great Anivia players. Because he knows he put it diagonally, the exact amount of length that he needed, that forced Double Lift up. And right now, it's Shepherd Froggen after that.
The Anivia experience I like to call walking around in your friend's house at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find a bathroom. Because you're just in the dark and you hit a wall when you don't mean to. You hit a wall when you don't mean to. You hit a wall when you don't mean to. Where'd that wall come from, Zyrene? I don't know. I could have sworn it wasn't there, but that's what Froggen's doing.
We have very different experiences at friends' houses.
Friends have houses like mazes.
And they have showers like alien spaceships.
Yeah, everything's crazy at your friend's house. It's kind of a rule. But anyway, Froggen's at the point where he's going to start building some massive structures in these team fights, and it could very easily catch Team Liquid out, as Contracts is going to find himself the one who's caught now. Nice chain CC juggling him around, getting away with the elastic slingshot. But now, does Team Liquid want to make the fight go any further? Impact's already popped the stone plate. Core JJ off the side. There is flash available on both these big playmakers, Xmithy and Core JJ for the side of Team Liquid. Contracts had to use his own flash there. The other 4 are up to the side of the Golden Guardians. Xmithy coming around from the side. Contracts is the first person he sees, which does make him have to back away. There's your catch down to Haunter. That one could be pretty big. He's tanky, but he's not tanky enough until Ole shows up and gets him out. The disengaged potential with Anivia and with Ole on this Golden Guardian squad. We talked about it in Champion Select, and it has shown up so many times.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of this prioritization, item-wise, has actually been on armor as opposed to magic resistance. Haunter, he's running around with that Righteous Glory, with, you know, the Warden's Mail now, so Jensen will deal some damage to him. But then on the opposite side, you look at Impact, he doesn't have anything like the Adaptive Helm, which you really want against the Anivia. He's rushed all that HP, he's rushed the Warmogs, so he's just going to try to go for those in-and-out fights. And we'll see how these team fights start kind of shaping up here. With Froggen hitting level 16, still now has the level 3 in the Crystallize, and that's what makes the difference in these fights, is separating people, sectioning them off. So TL have to be very careful about how they approach these fights. It's only a 2K gold advantage.
At the same time, Doublelift is as scary as ever. QSS plus 3 fully completed crit-based items makes that a very scary carry threat. As Impact goes in, the wall comes out, Core JJ into the back, they'll be able to find that enemy carry, and definitely is down. Team Liquid's already won the fight, but how much more can they find? Contracts wants to get himself away. The passive will be wasted here. He goes into the Bloblets and only buys a couple of extra seconds. Golden Guardians will not make anything else happen. In fact, they stick around way too long. They're gonna lose Froggen, they're gonna lose Ole, they're gonna lose everything as they cannot get out. I do not know why this team hesitated and stuck around in the mid lane. That could lose them the game.
It was 30 minutes on the clock. It was a nail biter, but right there, that's gonna be Team Liquid taking it home off of Golden Guardians, overstaying. No Baron necessary.
Team Liquid recognizes this is where you push for the win. This is where you let them know they are not going to reprise that spoiler role from last year. Golden Guardians will fall to Team Liquid 30 minutes into the game. One team fight is all it takes. That flank, that initiation from Xmithy, from Core JJ, it sets things up for Liquid to bring them down. They'll pad the stats a little bit here at the very end of the game. Doublelift wants a bigger KDA, but Team Liquid also needs that Nexus GG. They take the game 31 minutes in.
7-0, the record for Team Liquid as they start day 1, week 4, off with a win. And that was another one where Team Liquid, you know, they keep having this almost like anime plot armor halfway through the game. It looks dire. How is the hero gonna make it out? Well, Deus Ex Machina happens. Something allows them to win the game.
Flash is behind you, nothing personnel, kid. See ya.
Just core GG, man.
Just core GG things. That was... And Golden Guardians, I've got to criticize them for staying around like they did in the mid lane. As soon as Deathly's gone, the team fight's lost. Contracts is picked off. There's nothing the rest can do to save them. It looks like they're trying to find a return kill, but you're not going to make that happen, and then everyone just dies, and you lose the game right there.
And I have to say, there's so much for Team Liquid that they did right in there, because every time they engaged, it felt like Golden Guardians were like Terran, and these guys were the Zerg. Every angle was there was just pressure, there was oppression. They had Core JJ from the left, they had Impact from the right, they had Xmithy coming in from different angles. Everybody was on the same page of when they were going to strike, and it was just this overwhelming swarm that came over Golden Guardians.
It was a bit of a slow start, but the win happened rather explosively, and for more on Team Liquid making it 7 in a row, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Flowers. The win streak continues for TL, but Golden Guardians last week into today have really impressed. They made TL work for it today.
Right. I feel like most teams have.
Yeah, like when I'm watching people play Team Liquid, it feels like the team that's playing Team Liquid is winning up until they lose. And it's just like, well, what is Team Liquid doing that's making them so strong once mid-game happens? They just do one decisive fight or one decisive play, and then all of a sudden you lost a game. And it's just like, that's crazy that they're able to do that.
I mean, I liked what Golden Guardians did to kind of get to that position. They kind of stuck to their guns about focusing more on late game team fighting. They took the Ashe that you were highlighting. Maybe we'll talk about the build. But they still had a really strong front line, lots of engaged tools. Froggen pulls out another pocket pick that's unique to him, and you could see that people were unfamiliar with how much damage he was going to do. One time Jensen flashing away when he really didn't need to. But they had a really solid comp with a lot of options.
Yeah, like they said in the interview, and I was like, we're going to play what we think is strong and stay true to our style, and that's what they're doing.
They very much did so. Let's take a look at the early game, though. A lot of focus around the bot lane, as we had, tanky members for both sides of the team. We want to get those 80 carries ahead so they can shred in the late game.
Right.
And the thing about this is, like, Team Liquid's bot lane is so good that even when they make plays that are not actually going to work out, they still make the best of a bad situation. The way that they were able to survive through this one, the TP finishes by Impact, and they're able to make it a 1-for-2, which, a worse team might have actually gotten blown out here, and it would have been a 3-for-0 or something like that. And then when finally it's their turn to make the good play, Core JJ is so perfect at this.
Yeah, so he's going to headbutt the Tahm Kench away from the Ashe so he can't devour him. Then he saves his stun that he was stacking up on the Tahm Kench, uses it on the Ashe, so they get both kills and finish up the bottom lane.
Thinking 27 steps ahead of everyone else on the Rift. Part of what makes Core JJ so good. And for this Team Liquid squad, it definitely came down to certain plays being made in order for them to get ahead, right? I think that's part of what we're talking about when we talk about Golden Guardians playing them close, teams making them work for it.
Right. First, I really love Froggen's Anivia.
Yeah.
I have a lot of experience playing versus it, to be honest, and I've never enjoyed playing versus it because he always kills me or my team with his walls. Like, his Anivia is really solid, but watching Team Liquid in these fights, you always have to watch what they do. They're so good coordinated. There's always people flanking you, and you're just always like, am I safe in the spot I'm in? And usually the answer is not.
Impact coming up from the bottom lane with the save with his big train right
The
there.
drive-by kill.
Just absolutely crushes all hopes of Golden Guardians, who, in the beginning of this play, they get the pick off and they're chasing
Right.
Liquid. They're like, we're winning, we're doing it, we're winning, and then boom, they just get hit by Impact. Right across the screen.
And it's insane, too, because Impact was behind the whole game. He was like 40 CS
He was
down to
getting
Hong
crushed.
Oh, he was getting destroyed.
It doesn't matter with Team Liquid, it feels like what happens in the early game. Like, come up mid-game, like, oh, yeah, we're getting picked off at our Raptors. Nah, no, that's a team fight win.
That was Golden Guardians.
We're baiting you. We're giving you one life just so that you all die, It's genius.
That was Golden Guardians' game-winning, Baron-taking team fight. Team Liquid completely turned it around. Ends up with the Baron themselves. 3 kills in that fight go over to Doublelift. Now he's off to the races as a late-game Sivir. And, of course, even Golden Guardians made a couple plays during that Baron power play to keep themselves in it. Ultimately, another team fight comes through with impressive flanking. I called this one out about 5 seconds before the play actually happened. Walk me through this one, Hai.
Right, so I've talked a bit before on one of the segments where I was teaching people how to play the game that someone on your team needs to mark their engagers. So in this case, Golden Guardians needs to mark the Alistar and the Gragas, or not the Gragas, Gragas. And whoever that is, you need to keep track of them. Here they don't keep track of the Alistar. He gets a super disgusting flank where he gets a Q on both of the carries and punts the other carry to the enemy team. That's a game-winning play despite whatever you do early game.
And I think it's super impressive how they played around Froggen's walls as well. Froggen had really good walls in that fight, but the first time Sion just flashes over it so he can ult, and then the next time he's like, okay, I walled them off so we're safe in the mid lane, and then both Jensen and Doublelift flash over the wall again to follow up on the tank. So they were doing a really good job of, Anivia thinks made the right play, but then they just instantly punish it again.
Which is super cool because we talk about the unfamiliarity of a lot of these players probably with Anivia. Just they're not going to get a ton of practice against any other Anivia at the current moment. And so to still kind of have that, wherewithal within these fights on stage to go, I know how to operate around what this champion does and still win a team fight is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think it was super cool. Doublelift actually commented on this in one of his interviews, how all the members on Team Liquid have a very similar idea of how they play the game. He said it's just because they're all better at the game than everyone else, and they know what's correct and everyone else is wrong. But, regardless, they all think about it in a similar way. So you can see it in how fast they make choices after winning that team fight, right? When they win the one team fight with Sion coming in, they're like, oh my God, we're back in this, instantly Baron, then they're instantly down mid lane. They took all the turrets and the game is over so quickly. That's why this is one of our quickest teams. I'm not quite sure if it was the quickest team, but Team Liquid are like 4 minutes ahead of the North American LCS average game time.
I do want to tie this back into the conversation we were having at the top of the day, though. How dominant is Team Liquid in the grand scheme of the LCS historically? And it's tough to get through because exactly like you're talking about, Hai, it seems like in a lot of situations, Team Liquid is behind. Or it seems like maybe another team has their opportunity to win, and then the one team fight happens and Team Liquid takes it. But is that enough to say that there's, that much better than everyone else if at any moment you feel like they still could lose?
Right. It's a bit reminiscent of the old T9 days where we were oftentimes behind in the early game, but we never felt in danger of losing. I feel they probably feel the exact same way. Even despite them falling early game, they're always probably thinking, it doesn't matter what happens, we're going to win. We make better plays, we team fight better, and we're just better players. Knowing that, for them, they probably have no issue losing the early game. I'm sure they don't want to, but, it's very reminiscent of that, and they're definitely showing to be a super strong team.
I didn't ping stats before this. This is a live request, but I would love to know if anyone has gotten a Baron on Team Liquid this season or if they have taken an inhibitor turret against Team Liquid this season. Because even if you're winning the early games, if you're not getting the Barons and you're not cracking the base, you're not actually close to winning the game. So, like, as much as Golden Guardians was in that game, so to speak, and had 1,000 to 2,000 gold leads, they didn't ever get a major objective.
Another thing, too, is that Team Liquid, when they do lose something in the early game, maybe the other team gets 2 kills, they're often trading for something else on the side lanes. Maybe they push out, they get a turret in exchange for those 2 kills. So when people are like, oh my God, they're losing this early game so hard, they do a lot to kind of mitigate those losses.
They have not had a Baron taken against them. So
You're not close to being Team Liquid yet, boys. All right, well, I don't care about the early game.
We're going to take a break. When we return, Echo Fox and Cloud9 face off on Summoner's Rift. Don't go anywhere.